Like I was saying earlier, though, Brother Kel, like that whole In My Feelings challenge with Drake, any black person I see dancing to that shit is on some, and I don't even like using this word, because, you know, brothers like us have to face this, even though it was using the wrong context. But you are a coon and a Sambo by definition and default.
By definition, yeah, by definition of that term.
Because this is the same motherfucker who did blackface, and we saw this the other month in May.
Not to mention, when Drake first came on the scene, okay, this is when he first came on the scene. Didn't he use the word nigga? But he used it like Nigger.
I can't even recall because of my disgust in Drake. I was just like, I tried to walk away and just block out what
he did.
He probably did. I wouldn't put it past him.
I believe he did. Like, he got caught out there and jokers were calling him out on
it. Since we're on the subject of simping, Uncle Snoop Dogg, the same one who said that we don't love these hoes back in 93, 94. But look at him now. He messing around with a girl who wasn't even born during that time period.
Right.
And this little thought was that gerbil, that Vermin's ex-academics. Her name's Celina Powell. I used to, because, you know, I've heard her on his Twitch before. Like, I like to keep my tabs on people, and him and that Jew Vlad, who we're going to discuss, is one of them. Like, when Snoop Dogg did that shit, I'm like, dude. And he's the same one who told Kanye, hey, you need to have a black woman check you. You need to be dealing with a black woman right now. All this other shit.
Not to mention, Snoop is also the clown, okay? He's also the clown who, just like Nick Cannon, busy talking all that, man, we seen enough slave movies and blah, blah, blah. Okay, and Roland Martin, I'm sorry, who I generally don't believe, you know, I generally don't agree with usually. I hard to agree with that brother when he checked the living crap out of Snoop. And he talked about the fact that, okay, how many times have we ever heard any Jew, okay, any so-called Jew claim that they're tired of seeing movies about the Holocaust, and you'll never see that crap.
Nope. Because they know if they understand their history internally, fundamentally, they ain't gonna repeat that shit. But black people don't have no real understanding. And the thing is, even with slavery movies, it's done in such a romanticized way, though. It's not even done in a realistic manner.
Right. Oh, see, you were in love with your chains.
12 years a slave.
See, I know that, you know, Massa owned your great grandmother, but see, you know, she loved him. So it couldn't have been as brutal as you possibly think, and it's like, get out of here.
Shit. Quentin Tarantino made Django look lit.
Exactly.
But I was like, man, Leonardo DiCaprio played that part a little too well.
From what they were also saying, about the role that DiCaprio played, as well as the black actors that was on the set. Okay. And this is truly sad. They were revving him up.
Wow.
Okay? The black actors that was on the set, yeah, I like the way you did that.
Oh, yeah, Samuel played that role too damn well, too, man. Samuel Jackson. But, yeah, I see that you like that video from Chronicles of Judah that I put up on the morale page about policing ourselves and shit.
Exactly. Okay? Something that we should have been doing, okay? when you police yourselves, okay, when you make sure that your neighborhoods are oiled and organized, things of that nature, it leaves less room. Okay, it leaves less room for other people, okay, for other groups to come in and start chin checking you. Why? Because they're looking at the situation from, generally when these other groups come in and start doing this, I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's rogue police officers, okay, like as was the case with Rakia Boyd.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that off-duty cop that shot her and that other man, we know what he was doing. He was looking for drugs. Damn junkie. Okay? But if you're chin checking, okay, and you're taxing the living hell, all right, out of your own tomfoolery and your own foolishness, you're making sure that, your so-called hoodlums and drug dealers are in line. It leaves less room for that. Okay? Because that person knows when he or she or whoever, when they come into your neighborhoods with that, with that nonsense, number one, they know that criminal, that buffoonish, coonish criminal element, all right,
Mm-hmm.
who gets off on exploiting fellow black people, they know that their own life is at risk, okay, in dealing with these outside forces.
Right.
Right now, nothing gonna happen to these folks, and the reason why is because, black people will sit there and, allow schoolyards and whatnot to get shot up, over, BS over, gang turfs and things of that nature, and then go right back to that church and pray about it.
It's funny, and it's good that you said that too about the church. There was a man named, and Kanye sampled him on one of his most famous singles in this decade called "Father Stretch My Hands." It was a man named Pastor T.L. I think like T.L. Barret or something. And,
Okay.
he was known for T.L. Barret. My bad. He used to be about that life, man. Get involved with all that drug and that street life. And a lot of these pastors are quote unquote reformed thugs.
Yeah, I already know that.
And I think to myself, even with that situation that happened in that barber who got killed in Chicago, and this was in the South Shore neighborhood where my stepmom stays.
Okay.
I think to myself, these are the same motherfuckers who are gonna run to those type of pastors. The people who, and I don't know what that brother who died, if he was about that life and he turned his life around, I don't know. But to me, it's like if black people were to do less of that and less of that marching shit, then situations like the video with Chronicles of Judah would be handled a lot better.
Exactly.
Policing ourselves and all that stuff. Like, I mean, they have a Chinatown everywhere, pretty much all across the nation, and I can guarantee you they police themselves. The Jewish community.
Okay, and that's the deal. When I told these Negroes this, I'm like, okay, you think that the Asians don't have their own thugs?
Hell yeah, they got the triads here in Chicago.
They got the triads. They got the Yakuzas.
Yup.
Okay? They got all sorts of dragon tattoo posses rolling around out west and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But when your established business community, okay, and those other men come, what do? They get right in line. Okay? They get right in line. The reason why is because, number one, they have a nation outside of America. All right? Number two, they know if they start coming down heavily, okay, if they start coming down heavily and, ripping and robbing off these well-to-do Asians and whatnot, okay, in different legalized sets of the community, such as, educational sector or what have you, they know that there's hell to pay. All right?
Yep.
When the Chicanos, okay, the Mexicans, the Chicanos took over, when they became the most dominant force in the prison system out in California,
right.
Okay? As I was telling you before, okay? Those who were running that order put the word out. And they said, look, henceforth, there will be no public disrespect. Yeah, no forms of public disrespect done to, Mexican politicians, Mexican, high-ranking members of the Mexican business community, all right, educators, the whole nine. If you do that, they said there's hell to pay. Now, a few of them boys did that, but what happened to them? They got beat with impunity, stabbed up. A few of them got killed. Okay? They set precedent. They set order across the board. I don't know what is so hard. I don't know what is so hard about that with us. Like, well, I do know why it's so hard. One of the reasons is because black male authority, period, is just not respected.
It's definitely obscure / non-existent.
Right. It's just not respected, and it's, like you said, it's obscure.
Speaking of black men, even though I don't consider him a man, but Charlemagne, yeah, we definitely wanted to touch on that issue, and no pun intended on the touching part. This man, Angela Rye, defending him, and nobody's addressing this on the Breakfast Club. You would think that Charlemagne would try to flip the story and have Donkey of the Day. They doing major damage control for his ass. Did you know that they removed Star's video of it?
Oh snap!
Yeah, Star had the woman that was charged Charlemagne for the rape case, and they had the paperwork, the documents, all that. It was on Star's channel. She was speaking on it, everything, and they removed it on his channel. Serious damage control.
Yeah, sounds like they're trying to save face for the Breakfast Club model.
Of course, man. Charlemagne is their bread and butter. Really? What are they gonna do with Envy and Angela Yee? Let's keep it real now.
Exactly.
Need that jester to keep dancing for them, man, and just display his antics. That's what they need. Them white Jews, they like, oh man, Leonard, you're really bringing in the bread. You're bringing in the prize, Leonard. We need you, so we're gonna do you this big favor. Even though this is a heinous crime, we're gonna make sure that things just go under the rug, okay? Oh yeah, no problem, for sure. I mean, I discussed this. I discussed this on my videos. You've heard it on my podcast with Billionaires with my boy Andrew Schultz. I mean, y'all know how honest I am about my shit. Oh man, this dude had the nerve to talk shit about R. Kelly, talk shit about Bill Cosby. Going on Tekashi 6ix9ine, rightfully so. I don't know, but Bill Cosby, that's a different matter. But the other two, rightfully so. But now it's his turn, and he even admitted this. And I find it funny that academics has this interesting paradigm with rapists and child molesters, because he interviewed Tekashi 6ix9ine last year, at the end of last year, about his rape case, and how he was the one who interviewed Charlamagne back in 2013 when he was getting on about his case, and Charlamagne was talking about he will take full responsibility. His story didn't sound right.
Damn.
Yeah. So what do you think about the whole situation, Brother Kel? Because I do need to ask you these questions, since this is how we did want to conduct this.
As I was telling you off the record before, okay, when it comes to it personally, I don't have any sort of sympathy for Charlamagne because of the fact, that he threw other brothers under the bus. Okay, on every single sort of accusation that has ever come across the table. Okay, no jury that appears, no court case, no evidence, no nothing. Okay, and this fool, on the heels of, let's face it, his biggest, his biggest fans are women, they're females.
Yep.
All right? He sat there caping back and forth for them 24/7. And who are the very people sharing this crap online, these stories about him online? It's them women.
Uncle Charlotte, Uncle Charlamagne, Uncle Char.
So I'm like, nah, I'm sorry. I can't feel any sympathy for the brother. I just can't.
See, Charlamagne thought because he toned down his antics talking about sucking the fart out of Jennifer Lopez and Patti LaBelle's booty and all that stuff, because he toned down from that shit and acting like a sexual deviant every millisecond, he thought because he eased up on that the Me Too movement wasn't going to get at his ass for that shit. Serves him right, though.
Exactly.
And then I think about Angela Rye, who is this pro-black liberal, if that's what you want to call it. Like her, when she defended Charlamagne, and I'm thinking to myself, no wonder why you're defending Charlamagne. It's funny how you can call you can have this anti-Trump campaign, and they regurgitate the same bullshit about how Donald Trump is this sexist and grab him by the pussy and all this stuff. But I'm like, hold on, wait a minute though, Angela Rye. Charlamagne is your man. You went on Brilliant Idiots with this dude. You've been on the Breakfast Club several times, and this is your guy. This is your friend, and he does this stuff on the regular, and you don't check his ass on that shit. Nope. This is how I see this cognitive dissonance, this disingenuousness that goes on. And it goes on a lot in the black communities. You have all these rapists and these child molesters who could do this fuck shit, but because you like what they say and how good they treat you, you will sidestep that shit. And that's what I see. It's even deeper than what people are speaking on with Charlamagne. I'm looking at it from a deeper psychological level. Charlamagne even confessed that he used to get oral sex from a grown adult when he was only 8 years old.
Right.
So that speaks high volume on where that shit stems from with him.
Right, exactly. 8 years old. Man, when I was 8 years old, I'm busy playing with Transformers and G.I. Joe.
Nice.
Came early 1980s. Playing, Masters of the Universe, He-Man figures.
Yeah, not bad.
Kenner, the Kenner Star Wars action figures and stuff like that.
Ah, okay. So I saw a video on Blackie Speaks, and my man College made a video response on it. And when people talk about the state of hip hop, this is an argument that's been talked about for years, including myself and my homies. We've been talking about, And to be honest with you, and Ninth Wonder said it best. Ninth Wonder said that the fundamental difference between this era and the era that you came up in, Brother Kel, these clowns like Tekashi 6ix9ine, Lil Uzi, all these quote-unquote mumble rappers were not the face of hip-hop. Vanilla Ice wasn't the face of hip-hop in the 90s. MC Hammers wasn't the face of hip-hop, old school hip-hop. Like, no.
Right, he wasn't.
But somehow these suckers have become the overall representation of hip hop, which is what people will misinterpret as, and they will continue to be that frame of reference, and nobody will even bother to look at those who actually drop jewels and gems in this decade. Nobody's gonna give a fuck about them. They're gonna get overlooked because, well, these fuckers exist, and people are too lazy to even go and check out other artists who work hard for that shit. I mean, you have platforms.
What's truly sad about this era of hip hop?
Yeah.
And I gotta say this.
Go for it.
All right. Number one, social media made hip hop fans become lazy.
They did.
Not the hip hop artists.
No.
Hip hop fans.
Who dictate
and I'm gonna tell you the reason why.
Go for it.
I'm gonna tell you the reason why. Okay. Even long before hip hop even existed. All right. Even long before hip hop even existed. Okay. You had those old school underground broadband radios. Okay. Those old school broadband radio stations that stayed, they stayed true to the craft of art forms, okay?
Right.
Be it if it was hip hop, rhythm and blues, straight blues, okay? I'm talking about putting your radio, taking that radio where you had aluminum foil on that antenna and situating it in a certain part of your house or your apartment or outdoors, okay? It could be drizzling outdoors and thunder was about to come down, but you had to listen to that radio station that played that, they played that raw underground music.
Yeah.
You put your own life at risk. The internet made the fans lazy. I'm telling you, okay? Because back in the days, those fans were the pulse.
Yep.
Okay, the fans, okay, were the true pulse of music. All right, they said what went. They said what went, what goes. Well, the internet and television too. I can't throw all the blame to the internet. Okay, television as well. What they did was they started dictating to the fans what goes. That was never the case. That was never the case back in the day. Even a guy like Dick Clark, okay. When Dick Clark would do American Bandstand shows back in like 50s, 60s period, all right, he would run across the street from the studio and try to listen to what the kids back in those days were listening to. And then we're talking about white kids with this. Okay? He would try to get the word and the pulse of what the youngsters and the kids were listening to in the streets.
I'm glad you said that, too, as far as white kids. Going back to Drake, I'd argue that Drake made hip-hop more accessible to white people than Eminem.
Yeah, he did. I I mean, there were others that came before him. Okay.
Yeah, like the Beastie Boys.
Right, the Beastie Boys definitely.
There was a brother that Big L and Jay-Z rapped on the beat. It was a white guy. I can't remember his name though. You know what I'm talking about, right?
I know what you're talking about. It's just not on the tip of my tongue right now.
No worries. I mean, yeah, you had your MC.
Was another one.
Yeah. MC Search?
I can't really say Search. I can't really say Search from a... Search is a hip-hop head. He always was. But we're talking about people and groups that really kind of, we're talking about people and groups who they really represented white culture.
Oh, okay, yeah, I got you. I see what you mean.
And kind of took that, kind of broke down sort of a wall, so to speak.
Yeah.
All right. So it wasn't so much black and hood. All right.
Rhyme Sayers. I got another one like Rhyme Sayers. Then a guy named Atmosphere from Minnesota.
Okay, like with the Beasties.
Go for it, brother.
Prior to the Beastie Boys, you got to understand the Beasties were a punk rock band.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and what they did was they infused punk rock, punk rock sort of stylings, in with hip hop culture.
This sounds like something Rick Rubin put up.
Well, they all ran in the same circles.
I know, I was being facetious.
Right. Yeah, they all ran in the same circles. Whereas before then, like to see a white kid with a boombox in the hood, like you shake your head, like what?
You might see that in New York, but
I mean, what Eminem did, Eminem spoke the language.
right.
Eminem spoke the language of that white kid, that white kid that really doesn't have a voice, that has like an dysfunctional abusive relationship with the parents. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now you definitely had black artists that made songs talking about black dysfunctional stuff with their parents, but brothers never dissed their mother. That's one thing you never heard. Okay,
that is very true.
You ain't never heard no brother disrespect his mama. Okay, you heard plenty of daddy disses. Like if you go back and listen, Dub C from WC and the Mad Circle and the West Side Connection with Ice Cube and Mac 10 on the classic WC and the Mad Circle album, And a Damn Thing Changed. Dub C had a song called Fuck My Daddy.
Wow.
Well, he basically just, he does a tirade, just disrespecting his father, talking about, everything that his daddy did wrong, and him and his brother's upbringing.
Mm.
And I think that Eminem did this, for white people. Like I said, most brothers ain't gonna disrespect it. Look, proof is in the pudding. All right, brothers will sit there and say that mama could be a crack fiend and a black queen. Okay.
Tupac.
Right, exactly.
Since we're on the subject of Eminem and all that, Lord Jamar is somebody that, and we were going to talk about Lord Jamar too, is somebody who really does criticize Eminem a lot.
Right.
And what is your stance on Lord Jamar, especially with his Vlad interviews and how he came about in this era, even though he had a part of Brand Nubian and had his legacy there?
Well, I was a big Brand Nubian head when I was in high school. Okay, back when I was in high school, like I was a big Brand Nubian, Cypress Hill head, you know. I love looking at all those guys in concert. Okay. Like I saw Cypress Hill at 92 Summerfest.
Wow.
Yeah, that was 92 Summerfest. The year before that, I was fortunate to see Brand Nubian. Even though it was minus Grand Poobah Maxwell, because he had already split off so he could start recording his first solo album, the real album. But my thoughts on Lord Jamar, I don't know, back in the days, Lord Jamar was kind of outspoken even back in the days. Because I can remember some of the interviews. He wasn't on television 24/7 like that. And there wasn't no social media interviews or nothing like that. But I can remember the interviews that used to be given in magazines like The Source, as well as other little hip hop editorials and things of that nature. So
right.
I think a lot of him being critical of Eminem, and I'm critical of this too from a standpoint is, okay, you did everything possible, okay? You did everything possible, okay, to get yourself notarized, okay, in a culture that, let's just face it, okay, Black and Puerto Rican. All right, let's just face it. And then the moment that you get your chips up, okay, the moment that you get your chips up, you null and void. I have more, and I've told people this personally, I have more respect. I actually have more respect for Kid Rock than I have for Eminem. Okay? Kid Rock's resume speaks for itself. Okay? He came up hard. Okay? Kid Rock was a B-boy. Okay? Came up in them underground clubs. He was a B-boy out in the Motor City, out in Detroit.
Yeah.
Okay? This is long before MTV kind of, polished them up and all that, so they could sell them to white audiences.
I mean, it's kind of similar to Will I Am back in the day. Will I Am.
Exactly. A good analogy right there with Will I Am. Okay? All right? But what Kid Rock did was Kid Rock was a purist. And what I mean by that is this. Kid Rock knew the history of Detroit music. All right? With groups like the Motor City 5, All right, Iggy and the Stooges, those groups, okay. Early Funkadelic used to be on those same cards. All right.
Yeah, Detroit definitely got a rich history in music. Yeah.
Right. It's extremely, and it goes. Look, their history goes long back before that with people like John Lee Hooker. But he knew the history. He knew the history. So what he did was he infused. He infused the historical aspect, okay, into his own thing. Eminem, I can't really say that, man. Eminem kind of just.
Eminem was able to relate to every angry white kid. Like, let's be real.
Exactly. There you go. There you go. And you look at it, when you look at it from a black male point of view, all right, when you look at it from a black male point of view, all right, you have to say, well, wait a minute. Okay. We've never been afforded the opportunity. Okay, never, okay? And you can mark me on this. We've never been afforded the opportunity to internalize, okay, to outwardly internalize what we're going through, okay, in our personal situations with parents, okay, and things of this magnitude, okay, without it really just exploding and backfiring on us.
Right.
Okay? One thing that what we have been able to do is broadcast an overall image. Okay? Like you see with songs like The Message. Okay? The overall image, okay, of social decay. Okay?
You mean the message from Nas?
No, I'm talking about the original Message, okay?
Oh, okay, got you.
Yeah, the classic Duke Booty produced Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5 song, okay?
Got you. Okay,
that's what we've been able to do, to broadcast an overall message, all right? This shows, look, we can never just say, well, hey, I'm impoverished. No, we're impoverished. Okay, we have social issues. We have, baby mamas galore and everything. Okay, just running amok everywhere. And, okay, brothers running in and out of jail. We have that. All right. You listen to, as critical as I am of Tupac, all right? You see my videos.
Yeah, of course.
I give that brother complete credit, all right? When you listen to a song like Brenda's Got a Baby, what does he say at the beginning? Let me tell you how it affects the whole community. He doesn't personalize Brenda. He doesn't do your Eminem spiel. All right, Eminem's baby mama, or I think he's married to the chick now, ain't he?
I'm not even sure, to be honest with you.
Okay. How he was afforded the opportunity to personalize it. Cuss about her, talk about how he wanted to put the girl in the trunk of a car and ride it off an embankment and whatnot and all that other nonsense.
Oh, Eminem got a song where he's going in on black women. You know that any black man couldn't do that shit.
Thank you. What black man could ever do that? Okay? What black man could ever do that?
Shit.
And for the person that's going to say, oh, well, the Snoop Dogs and, they call women bitches ain't shit.
Different dynamic.
And all that. But here's the deal. Okay? Here's the deal.
All
right? when you hear the Snoop Doggs, okay, when you hear, okay, your West Coast artists in particular, as well as your guys from Florida, Miami and whatnot, talking about Luke and all them.
Uncle Luke, yeah.
All right, what's the common denominator? Women, okay, women are partying and dancing to this music.
And you said that in your video, I saw your mama.
Exactly. Okay?
Yeah.
Women are dancing that. All right? Women are dancing to the music. Women are reveling in it. Okay? When you hear Eminem, nah.
Big Boy is the closest thing that I could think of as to criticizing black women. Big Boy from Outkast.
Oh yeah, from Outkast. Correct.
He says something. Go ahead.
Once again, all right, the Big Boy, all right, even if you go back and listen to the stuff that him and Dre did for years, okay, particularly songs like Sorry Miss Jackson.
I'm glad you went about that one.
Once again, he doesn't personalize the situation. He talks about something that every father in general, okay, has a problem with. Okay? And he's sitting there talking to his mother-in-law or that girl, okay, or his baby mama's mom, all right?
Mm-hmm.
Basically saying, look, let her know that this is a baby and not a paycheck. Once again, he's not personalizing it. But I'm trying to think, as far as Drake is concerned,
yeah,
where Drake plays into all this, is Drake represents that nerd boy culture, you know. And I'm not dissing nerds, you know. I'm not dissing nerds in any, you know. Hey, I'm a bit nerdy myself, all right.
Mm-hmm.
But Drake kind of Drake lives out that nerdy boy's fantasy.
Yeah.
Okay? That's what he does, all right? He's living out that nerdy boy's fantasy. I mean, you saw him back in the day, you know, you barely know. Look, you notice a piece of chip paint on the cafeteria wall before you noticed him. All right?
Yeah, you summed it up perfectly.
Right. He's everywhere. He's all in your face. You know, that's what Drake is to me.
I compare him to Malibu's Most Wanted. That's what I compare Drake to. He wants to be enveloped in black culture so bad, and he knows that he's a very dorky individual. And there's nothing. I have dorky tendencies myself, but
no problem with that. It's no problem with it.
But here is where the problem lies. He's
Drake
a poser.
is the one that has the issue and the problem with it. He's the one that has the problem with it.
Yep. And the irony is, people always praised him for this honesty, but he would be honest about the actions that he displays, but he wouldn't be honest about the internal issues he had, which is what Pusha T brought to the table with the story of Adidon.
Exactly.
And then Drake tried to do these damage control bars, and his pimp, his daddy, Jay Prince, decided to step in and tell Pusha T and Drake they gotta stop this because there's this career-ending diss. There's nothing that I laughed at that. You know what I said in my recent video, Brother Kel? Drake is that person who everybody in show and tell has something to show, but Drake supposedly has this exotic pet, which is a phoenix, in his house, but his parents won't allow him to take it out. Jay Prince is the parent in this scenario. It's a phantom that people are chasing after.
And see, you've had your quirky or your nerdy type guys in hip hop.
Yeah. But Kanye's one of them.
Right, Kanye is definitely one of them. But one thing is this. Okay, back in the days, you had guys like De La Soul.
Yep, De La Soul is a perfect example. Yep.
Prime example. Okay. But the deal is, all right.
They were
not strangers to black culture
at all.
They weren't strangers by any stretch of the imagination to black culture. In fact, they like I said before, they embodied it. They embodied, it and showed it through their own quirkiness and their own nerdiness.
Yep. Drake out here, he's robbing, he's out here sucking off of other cultures like a leech or a succubus. He's out here taking off of Caribbean culture. He's out here taking UK slang like he did in that Behind the Bars, which I like to call damage control. But I like to call damage control bars. Oh man, he's taken off of every culture, Spanish culture, whatever you could think of, he's done. And it's not like he's out here giving these brothers and these individuals credit. He just does it and runs with it, just like a lot of these Jewish people tend to do. Oh shit. Huh.
Right, and that's another thing with Drake. Drake kind of reminds me